Hey everyone, in this video we are talking about, we are solving the merge interval, that is the lead code problem, and this is the striver. This problem is in the list of the uh, striver striver selected striver. This is the problem, the medium level problem, and we are solving this problem in the C++, that in the problem beginner level. Basically, in this problem, given that the array of interval where the size of the each interval basically to the starting point and ending point, and then the merge the all overlapping interval, and then we have to return the non-overlapping interval to all the interval in the input. Basically, we are checking the any interval which is overlap to other, then we merge off that basically, for example, like in this interval 1 3 and 2 and 6 both are overlapping, so we are merging both of them, and then we get to range starting point 1 to 6 in different 6, and then other interval 8 or 10 which is not overlapping to previous interval, and then the interval like 15 and 18 which is not overlapping to any previous interval. So we can return the interval like 1 to 6 and 8 to 10 and 5 to 18. So let's try to do how can solve it. Basically in this problem we are checking like the size of interval which is n, we can calculate, and then if any interval which size is less than or equal to 1, then we can return the interval. We cannot merge any other because the size of interval, if size of interval 1, then no need to merge to other, and if size of interval, then we can't do anything. So that's why we return the interval here. And now for if the size of interval is greater than or equal to 2, then we have to solve that problem. Then basically what we do, then we are like basically we iterate from 0 1 to n size of interval, and then at every interval we check the that is overlapping to previous one or not. If that overlapping, then we can merge of them and merge of them, so we can change the range of interval and move the forward. That's why, so for like for int I is equal to 0 to n I flash, and then basically we start the for loop from index 1, and we check if like interval of I which that starting first point of interval I, and then which is basically we check the starting point of that interval and ending point of the previous interval. So if interval I, the basically like the starting point of interval I is greater, it's less than, basically less than to interval of previous one to ending if the ith interval, the starting point of the ith interval is less than ending point of the previous interval, then we can merge of them, or we can say here basically equal. If equal, if both is ending point and starting point, ending point of the previous one and starting point of the current interval is equal, then we can also merge of them. That's so we can change the we change intervals. So basically make temporary we are making like answer. So vector of vector int answer, and we are making a temp variable which size basically 2, and like temp. And for example, like if is this, and then we basically push in the temp variable, we push like the interval, starting interval of and ending point interval of j starting and ending point, like index 1 basically ending point. And then we check we are not check basically, and here we check current interval, and basically previous interval now become the temp. So basically we change the intervals to temp here, and now we are, if both are more equal, then we can change, we are set the temp to temp basically we erase the last one and push the current one. So basically temp of 1 become to interval of ith point to starting to ending point basically. So now become this. Else if this is not, and this if both are if not much, then we can we are push the array, push the temp in the answer. So enter push back, basically push back. Here in vector we have function push back, and then temp, and then we change, we clear all the data of the temp, and then we are changing the temp. Now if now we have to update the temp for next operation. So like if this is not, if this condition is true, then we have no problem, we can update the temp. And if else condition is basically if this condition fail, then we got the basically we have to remove the that of that one, and then we have to like change the temp. How to do here, like basically we are changing the temp and the pushback, and now we have to make to jump to the interval. So like what we do now, what we do basically what we do no, like this is the correct one, and then now we have no problem here. If then we have no problem, and we have to erase. Basically we can erase. Now we are erasing the temp, and clear, and then basically we check if temp dot size should be greater than is equal to 0. Then what we do, let temp of 0 become interval of I to 0, and temp of 1 become intervals of I to 1, and now and we continue here. Continue, and then we are checking like if this contain, then we can continue, and we cannot got the on this condition and move the next one, and like this is the correct one, and then size not 0, then we have to do, we got this condition and this, and then basically now we are checking if temp dot size should be greater than 0, then what we do, also dot plus make temp, and get this correct, and Twitter, and then basically we are returning the answer, and this I think that the correct one. We are checking if we have any error or not. So we are run the code. Basically we are running, we have some error, like what the error, undeclared intervals difference in k. Okay, and the intervals like now run the code. We are getting some error now. The subscription not the pointer. Okay. The ending point. Basically, now we have the ending point. Now that's now checking the answer is correct or not. We are getting that wrong answer here. Basically wrong answer. Be able to merge, but okay. This condition is happening here. Click. Okay. Basically we have to change. If we basically here we have some wrong answer because of this. If we are answer, if both interval are not, if like this interval are not merged, then we have to like we clear the temp, and then we have push the interval, current interval in temp. So basically this condition is here, I think, and then basically then he can able to run, like able to run, and then like that's a good. And then we are checking this one is correct or not. Again we are getting the wrong answer. How can that's good. Yeah, this is the exact correct one. We checking the other test case for like this, and for checking this interval and run the code and checking this one is correct or not. So this one is also accepted. Then now submit this code and checking this is accepted or not. No, we are getting the wrong answer. Okay, here the order is changed. So first of all we have to make the order wise of intervals. So here we have some problem. Okay, now first for the we have to sort the basically. Okay, basically we are sorting, we apply sorting here. Sort intervals dot begin and interval and now to run the code basically. Okay, now accepted. We have submit again, checking this one. We are again we are getting the some wrong answer. Okay, we yeah, basically we have to, okay, basically here we are applying this code basically in if any interval in that of range between other interval, then we get the wrong answer. Yeah, so basically we have to change it, like that's not applying this condition, like where this interval maximum of here we apply like maximum of interval of I and what and temp 5, that's one. Now this one accepted. Now okay, we are try this code and run that one, and this one is correct or not, we are checking. Okay, now we again submit it. Sometime error. Okay, we're getting a runtime error. What is this? Okay, this one. Okay, Okay, we are getting runtime error files. Basically in this program we have like 1 4 and 0 to 2 and 3 to 5. Basically 0 to 2 and then 1 to 4 and then 3 to 5 and 0 to 4. Basically this can be a merge here, 0 to 4, 3 to 5. Now this one merge here, 0 to 5. But why we are getting the runtime error here? Why we are getting runtime error? Okay. It's clear. What the errors? What the error here? How can do it? Basically we change the last index of 10, maximum of that one, and okay. Basically I this the wrong. Okay, now here we have to one, basically not the I. Then we are checking that one. Yeah. Yeah, accepted. That's one. Good. Okay, now this problem has been solved. Good. Thank you very much.